Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like a flash crash is coming. We warned you guys about this about a week ago, and it looks like it is finally coming to fruition. We see some very alarming things today with Google and Microsoft. If any companies were going to save the stock market, it was going to be Microsoft and Google, and that did not happen today. So we have a lot to talk about. It is not too late to join the trading community. Link down below in the pinned comment. You will get access to all of my trades in real time. We have been well positioned for this, and we are starting to make a lot of money, but it is not too late to get in on this flash crash. Now, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball here. This comes from 5 years of trading experience and knowledge of macro events going on in the world that is coming to this conclusion right now. So I'm not a financial advisor. Anything can happen in the stock market, as you guys do know, but this is no bueno. This is not good. So we got a lot to talk about in a very short amount of time. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight to it. So the S&P 500 is down 0.56% here in after hours alone, down 3% on the day. Now, what is most alarming about this, and we're going to get straight to it, is Google is down 6.5%. Microsoft, let's go ahead and pull up what is Microsoft doing here in after hours. Well, they're up just a little bit. It is very volatile because they both have their earnings calls going on right now. But what is most alarming, and we'll pull this out, is that Microsoft earnings beat across the board. So Microsoft had great earnings comparable to Tesla. They just beat across the board. There was like nothing bad to point out from Microsoft earnings, and they are not being rewarded for that at all. They're negative, they're positive, they're now negative. You know, they're not being rewarded for this after already being down 3.74% on the day. But what is even more alarming is Google. And why this is alarming, I will break it down for you guys in just 1 second. But it says Alphabet reports weak earnings and revenue on big YouTube miss. Alphabet missed on top and bottom lines for the first quarter. YouTube showed particularly weak results. Other bets, which include self-driving car unit Waymo, nearly doubled its revenue compared to the year prior. And if we do go down, the earnings per share of $24.62 versus $25.91 expected. Revenue of $68.01 billion versus $68.11 billion expected. YouTube advertising revenue of $6.87 billion, $7.51 billion expected. Google cloud revenue of $5.82 billion versus $5.76 billion expected, so that actually did beat a little bit. And traffic acquisition costs $11.99 billion versus $11.69 billion expected. So they really just missed on the YouTube revenue, on revenue overall, but it wasn't a huge miss. And like I said, EPS, earnings per share. But what is even more alarming than this is that Alphabet announced a $70 billion share buyback program. So that's basically where the company takes their own money and buys back their stock. And that is one of two ways to reward shareholders without capital appreciation, right? Without the share price just going up in value. It is share buybacks and it is dividends. Investors typically love those things. So in a normal market environment, the fact that Google missed a little bit, but they announce this massive share buyback program would not be a bad thing. The stock would not be down 6% in after hours, but it is. Now, why I am so alarmed about that is it comes down to Apple. Apple reports earnings on Thursday, and Apple is widely expected to announce another massive share buyback program. But the earnings estimates for Apple have been going up almost every single month. They went from $90 billion expected revenue to $94 billion of expected revenue. If they have a quarter that is just like Google, which I imagine it will be, they're probably going to miss estimates on the top line revenue number, miss estimates on the bottom line profit number, and announce a share buyback. It's not going to save the stock. Now, obviously, it could be different with Apple, but I think Google was really the one that would have been saved by something like that. Because if we go ahead and pull up Google on Yahoo Finance, you can see that Google is valued less than even something like Apple, right? The PE ratio heading into earnings today, so not even including this, 6% down move that we are seeing in after hours, the PE ratio is 21.30. So after this down move, it's probably sitting at like 18 right now, right? Apple is sitting at 27. A 27. If they do not come in with just absolutely killer profit numbers, revenue numbers, it's going to get absolutely destroyed. And like we went over in the trading community last night, I actually put out a bunch of screenshots. Let's go ahead and pull this up, where like all of the Google search trends for iPad are seriously hurt, right? Apple Watch, seriously in the gutter. MacBook Pro, in the gutter. AirPods, in the gutter. Apple Music, in the gutter, right? Like look at that. It's just dropping off cliffs on all of these. Apple TV is the only thing that is somewhat stable. But that's a very small portion of Apple's actual revenue. And what is really alarming, even if you look at the iPhone 13, it's still just trending down off a cliff. So when I add all of this together, it doesn't look like there's going to be anything to save the markets this earnings season. It's certainly not going to happen tomorrow. Facebook is not going to save the markets. That's probably going to get destroyed. After all, it just got destroyed based off of Apple earnings in after hours. If you look at Facebook, I mean, they're down 3.6% here in after hours alone, already dropping 3.23% on the day. Like literally everything is coming down. And like we seen last earnings, if any stock was going to save the markets, it was going to be Microsoft or Google. And the fact that Microsoft is not being rewarded for good earnings and Alphabet is being destroyed for bad earnings, and I mean, they're only somewhat bad. Like they did not miss by that much, and they introduced a share buyback program, but they're down 6%, really makes me concerned for Apple and Amazon. These players are more cloud-based as well. Just another fun fact to point out, that they're not even really dealing with a lot of the hardware inflation that something like Apple or Amazon would deal with, right? Google does not deliver things like Amazon. Amazon has a lot more, expenses in that nature to acquire their actual revenue. Apple, same thing there. They got to pay for the iPhones, China being shut down, all of that. Very, very alarming. At the same time, you did get news today that Russia is essentially cutting off Poland. They're cutting off two other countries from oil and natural gas. Let's see if we can go ahead and pull this up. It was a little bit earlier, and this is what really killed the markets earlier in the day. Today, hold on. Yeah, Turkey's Erdogan holds a call with Putin. Let's go ahead and see if we can find it. I know it's on Twitter, but long story short, they're cutting off oil and energy to Bulgaria, I believe it's Bulgaria, Poland, and it's rumored to be announced that they're going to cut off natural gas and oil to Germany as well, especially after this announcement of Germany announces first heavy weapons delivery to Ukraine. So if that happens, you're going to see a lot more fear and panic in the markets, especially because of Europe. If their energy costs continue to rise, they are certainly heading into a recession, and that's going to slow down the overall global GDP and kind of put the global markets into a recession a lot faster as well. So those are really the concerning things that I am seeing at the current moment. I did want to bring you guys this video just to lay my thoughts out there and let you guys know the situation. I'm pretty bearish, let's call it that, for the markets right now. And I think it's overall a good thing for something like AMC, but we'll just have to wait and see exactly what happens, how bad this actual sell-off could be. Futures are going to be opening in just a minute, and we'll see. We'll get an indication of where things look, but it's not looking so good right now. So if you guys want to come join the trading community, link down below in the pinned comment. It is not too late to get in on some of those trades. Obviously not a financial advisor, anything can happen, but it is not looking so good. So thank you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, do what you guys gotta do in that regard. Come join us on the live stream in between 10 and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. We will be live and we got a lot to talk about. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.